You tell the story of Jerry outside a hotel saying, like, I give up, in this idea of...
Things were going really wrong. I'd been trying to fix him for a long time. It was a relationship thing long before Esther knew him. And finally, after trying and getting nowhere with it, he gave up. And he went outside, it was snowing, looked up into the heavens where he thinks we are, and said, I give up, and meant it. I give up. And then he said, what happened to him was champagne bubbles just started at his feet and moved up through his body. And then he was not just happy, but euphoric for a long time. And after he met us many, many years later, he wanted to know what had happened. And we explained that he gave up the struggle. He gave up the fight. He gave up the trying to convince other people. He gave up trying to make somebody else see it the way he saw it. He gave up trying to control circumstances and events that he'd spent a decade trying to control to no avail. And when he gave that up, he came in, for a while, into full alignment with everything that he'd put into his vortex. He didn't give up his desires. He didn't give up the things that he'd put there. He gave up the struggle. He gave up the part of his life that was not working. He gave up the fight. He gave up the pushing against what was wrong. That's what he gave up.
Would that be like surrender, or when you say like letting go of the oars? And how does that look in our day-to-day movement in the world?
Hopefully it's not part of your day-to-day movement. You know, we talk a lot about momentum. So when you've got something going on and it doesn't feel good, but you don't find a way to diffuse it, and you don't find a way to look away from it, you just keep looking at it, trying to fix the problem. And so the problem just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until there is momentum. And so what this story about Jerry illustrates a lot of things. It illustrates how, in knowing what he didn't want, for a long time, what he didn't want and what he did want were more here. But over time, what he didn't want and what he did want got more and more and more emphatic. And so when you really, 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 really know what you don't want, then there's an equivalent what you do want. And sometimes after that much suffering and asking and suffering and asking and suffering and asking, the asking gets strong enough that when you really let go, in a true attitude of, I'm done with this stuff I've been doing that isn't working, then very fast manifestations begin to happen.
How do you train yourself?
Let us finish that thought. When you said, how do you do it on a daily basis? If you were brand new in this world, we would just be saying to you, be as happy as you can be, as much as you can be. And others around you would be really unhappy about that guidance, because they would want to be warning you about all of the things that, but we would know that under those conditions that you would be at the attractor of predominantly what you are wanting. And so you can't get it wrong. It took Jerry a long time to give up, and he could have been way happier way earlier if he'd known that. But sometimes you have to suffer so much that you can't bear the suffering before you decide you're not going to suffer anymore. Sometimes it has to get that big before you come to a decision. And so that's what happened. We like it better if it goes more like, well, I know what I don't want. Ooh, what is it that I do want? Or even better, pointing at what you do want. But everybody's in a different place. You're not even in the same place on different subjects. There's no way to sort it all out exactly. So we're going to sort it out generally. Understand that you have an inner being, and your inner being knows what you want, and your inner being's only focused upon what you want. And when you don't feel good, you're not focused on what you want. And so if you want what you want, then focus on what you want. Well, I can't focus on what I want because what I don't want is so in my face. Well, then diffuse. Try to find the feeling. In other words, we're trying to sneak you in the back door.
Like, if I can team up with my inner being when I'm facing...
You often are.
Then I'm like have a buddy, like a permanent buddy with me.
Well, that's a detached way of looking at it. It's a part of you. It's a part of you that is certain of who you've become. It's a part of you that has evolved into the existence of the new wanting, as compared to the part of you who's still physical, who's writhing in the absence of the true wanting. And then we say that thing that is so irritating to you. Everything you want is because you want to feel better. Well, it is the reason that you want everything, because you want to feel better. And when you really hear that, you give up the battle easier. You give up anytime you're pushing against anything. There's no such thing as no in a universe that is only about attraction. When you shout no at something you don't want, something that's really bad, something that nobody wants, something that is just horrific, and you shout no at it, you're actually saying, come to me, this thing I do not want, because there's no in an attraction-based universe. And so, wouldn't it be nice if just because of that statement, you all just said, I give up. Okay, I give up. I give up.
Is the step there to be like, to move to like, I think we can get this a little bit better? Or is it, how do you
We've offered a
soothe
lot of processes over time to help you pivot, to help you turn the other cheek. The thing that we're talking about these days that you are having the most success with is get out ahead of it. It's two things. It's accepting that the law of attraction is always operating. It's like the field of gravity. It's always operating. And so you're about to walk into a room or pick up the telephone or get in your vehicle or whatever. You're about to enter a new segment where some intentions are a little bit different. And since you know that when you step into that segment, just like this one, when you step into that segment, the law of attraction is going to be in action, and it's going to respond to you precisely and proportionally and exactly as you're calling. You are a cooperative component at all times to the attraction that comes to you. No exceptions. And so as you see that clearly and you actually consciously think, I'm going to enter this segment, and as I step into it, my vibrational frequency or my emotional, which is the easiest way for me to decipher what my vibrational frequency is, which is what the universe is responding to. Not my words, not the smile on my face, not the happy face sticker on the empty gas gauge. The universe and law of attraction is responding to my vibrational frequency that I, as a human, know very little about, because I'm counting on all the things that have already manifested, and I'm looking at a pile of manifestation. Some of it I like, but some of it is missing, and some of what's there sucks. And so for me to be a vibrational sensor, then I've got to become emotional. So I'm going to step into this field of attraction deliberately wanting to feel good. So that's one. And the other is looking for easy existing matches. Not someone was rude to me and I'm going to turn them into a nice person with my powerful mind. Good luck with that. But there's a nice person over there, and there's another one over there, and there's a whole bunch of them over there, and over there, and over there. Easy existing matches. Easy existing matches. Matches to what? Matches to what my inner being thinks about the same subject. Easy existing matches. My inner being has an opinion about everything that I have an opinion about. That's a really good way. And I want to match the opinion of my inner being, because my inner being, first of all, is source. Next is on the leading edge. Next holds in a now state everything I want. And oh boy, we'll just stand there holding the frequency of it. And as I match my emotional state to the emotional state of my inner being, I'll match the frequency. And as I match the frequency, then the ideas start flowing and the impulses start flowing and then the things start coming to me. Think of yourself as being a cooperative component. Esther was sitting at the airport yesterday morning, really early in San Diego. And she was sort of roaming around, wanting to keep moving. She knew she'd be sitting for a while. So she walked over there and she walked over there, and most everything in the airport was closed. It was that early of a flight. And so she'd walked down to her gate. Her gate was at the far end, and she sat over there, and then she sat over there, and then she got a very strong impulse to go sit looking out. And she usually does not do that. And then she got out her iPhone. She has a coloring game on it that she likes to see the pretty colors and enjoy, and she's developed all kinds of different techniques that please her in different ways about it. So she played with that for a little bit, and then she looked up, and just as she looked up, the little cart outside, the little train that has all the baggage on it, came around the corner, and as it went around the corner, a suitcase fell off. And Esther jumped right up and went over, and the driver didn't see it and went right on. And so Esther thought, somebody's not going to get their luggage. And off the guy went. And so Esther waited, and there was nobody around, and she waited. Banging on the window wasn't going to help. And as soon as she saw someone who looked official, she said, a suitcase fell off. And they got on their radio and said, ground crew, you copy, and they did. And then Esther stood there and watched somebody come back and get that suitcase. She said, I'm a cooperative component. I'm a cooperative component. I was in the right place at the right time, and they couldn't see it because it had tumbled and rolled up under the steps. And so Esther's banging on the window going, she was a cooperative component for quite a while. And she took such delight in being a cooperative component. She knew for sure that she had been called over there, guided over there from the vibration that had that knowing. Now, humans want to understand, how is the future known? The future is known because the law of attraction is known. It is a sophisticated algorithm that AI will never understand. Only infinite intelligence, understands it. And so, once you get the hang of this, and you're mostly just feeling good, determined to feel good, nothing's open, no one's here. Oh, I'll color. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's pretty. It sounds ridiculous, but when you hold yourself in a state of feeling good, then you're always in the right place at the right time for the upliftment of something. And isn't it nice when you catch yourself in the right place at the right time for the upliftment, not for the making things happen. You're not turning it from a smear or a vibration into something. You're the witnesser of it. The laws of the universe have already taken care of it. You did step 1. Source is doing step 2. You're staying happy is what step 3 is. And trying to be the universe or trying to fix the problem is the problem. It's what keeps people from being in that receptive place. Now, all kinds of wonderful things happen to you. You don't have to see the suitcase fly off, and you don't have to be the one that rescues it. You don't have to do that. That's not what our message is. But, oh boy, is it ever fun for you to be tuned in to your own desires and have awareness of how you could shift that and be that and move that. That's what makes life fun. You didn't come and say, I'm going to be a creator and I created that, and isn't it great? There it is. Well, what's your purpose in life? That was it. That's not what it is. It's that and that and that and that and that. And it's not even the manifestation of it. By the time it gets to a manifestation, if you understand the thrill of having your hands in your own creative clay, you've had way so much fun. And by the time that shows up, whether it's $1 billion or $1 million or a new house or a lover or a new car or a new job or a new whatever it is, by the time it shows up, you go, oh, I've been expecting you. By the time it shows up, you say, you are the next logical step. Because first, I was just, and then I was, and then I was, ooh, and then I was, and then, that's how it goes.
Thank you.
Yep. Sit right there. We've enjoyed this interaction more than any that has come before because it is the leading edge. And that's where your inner beings are. So take it easy, be nice to yourself, and pay attention to how you feel and then. How you feel and then. Show yourself where those ideas are coming from. Get hold of your understanding of how this works. There's great love here for you. And for now, we are complete. So good. Thank you so much. Whoa, you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. I'm glad you got